Hello students, myself is Narayan Kulkarni, Physics Department from Ferguson College, Pune. In the last lecture, we had seen the use of potentiometer to find the internal resistance of the cell. We had seen in the last lecture how we can use the potentiometer to determine the internal resistance. Also, some applications of the potentiometer were also seen. For example, how we can use the potentiometer as a voltage divider, as an audio control, or as a sensor. So these applications were also seen in the last lecture. Also, we had seen the galvanometer and its use as an ammeter. How we convert a galvanometer into an ammeter, that is to measure the current in the circuit. Next topic that we shall see now. Now let us see how to find the current through the shunt S. The diagram, it is same as before. The total current I, that is coming in the circuit, flowing in the circuit. When it is passing through the galvanometer, that is Ig. Ig is the current for which galvanometer shows full scale deflection. Remember, partly Is, that is the current, it is flowing through this shunt. So this current, how to find this current, that we shall study now. Now see here, always remember, when we convert a galvanometer into an ammeter, the two equations are very important. We had seen in the last lecture. One is that Ig into G equal to Is into S. How we get this equation? Because G and S, they are connected in parallel. We had seen that we convert galvanometer into an ammeter by connecting a low resistance in parallel with the coil of the galvanometer. We call it as a shunt. So when they are connected in parallel, their potential differences must be same. Therefore, current Ig into resistance G must be equal to current Is into this resistance S. So this is equation 1. Second equation, that is total current I is equal to Ig plus Is. So this is the second equation. Total current, that is I, is equal to Ig plus Is. So these are the two important equations in this ammeter. So remember these two equations, they are very important. From these two equations, we can find G, we can find S, we can find Ig, Is, I, etc. Okay, now how we used to find this? A shunt current, that is Is. Now, from this equation 2, we have Ig equal to I minus Is. We can write this. Substituting this in equation 1, what we get? Here, instead of Ig, we shall write now I minus Is into G equal to Is into S. So, on solving this, we can get Is equal to I into G upon G plus S. So if I know how much maximum current I want to measure in the circuit, that is I, G, that is resistance of galvanometer, and if value of shunt is known, we can find out current flowing through this shunt. So this is how we can determine Is. Now there is one special case. What is that? If the maximum current in the circuit I is equal to N times Ig, that is N times the current flowing through the galvanometer, for which galvanometer shows full scale deflection. Remember the meaning of this Ig. So if this is so, then the shunt required is, how much shunt is required? We know that S is equal to Ig into G upon I minus Ig. This is the equation with which we can calculate the value of shunt to measure maximum current I in the circuit. Place of I, we shall write now N times Ig. So equation becomes Ig into G upon N times Ig minus G. On solving, we get G upon N minus 1. So S equal to G upon N minus 1. What is the meaning of this? Suppose, for example, if I is equal to 10 times Ig, means what? I want to measure the maximum current I, which is 10 times the current flowing through the galvanometer. Then from above equation we can write shunt required, it is G upon N minus 1, that is G upon 9. So this is the meaning of this equation S equal to G upon N minus 1. We shall solve one numerical on this. See what is given. A galvanometer having a coil of resistance 100 ohm means what is given? See, it is G is equal to 100 ohm, that is given. It gives a full scale deflection. Remember, full scale deflection, that is Ig. When current of 1 milliampere is passed through it, that this Ig is equal to 1 milliampere, that is 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. Okay. Find the value of shunt, that is we have to find out the S, which can convert this galvanometer into an ammeter giving a full scale deflection for the current of 10 ampere. That is the maximum value of the current given, it is 10 ampere. So what is given? Resistance of galvanometer G is known, current through the galvanometer Ig is known, and the maximum value of current, that is I, is known. And what we have to find out? We have to find out the value of the shunt resistance. So we know that, I just told you that. You must know the two equations. One is Ig into G equal to Is into S. This is one equation. Okay. So from this we can write as S equal to Ig upon G, Ig into G upon Is. Now, for Is we write this as I minus Ig. Why? Because this is our second equation, important equation, just I told you. This is first equation, this is the second equation. If we know these two equations, we can find out anything. So we got this relation. Substitute the values. Ig, it is known to us, 10 raised to minus 3 ampere. G, that is 100. I, 10 ampere. Ig again, 10 raised to minus 3. So substituting this, we get the result S is equal to 0.01 ohm. By solving this, we get the value of shunt. So when we connect this shunt 0.01 ohm in parallel with the coil of galvanometer having resistance 100 ohm, we can read the maximum current up to 10 ampere. That is the meaning of this. Okay. Next use of galvanometer as a voltmeter. Voltmeter, it measures the voltage across any conductor. Now, a voltmeter, it is always connected in parallel. Always remember, we had seen ammeter is connected in series to measure the current, but voltmeter is connected in parallel with the component across which the voltage is to be measured. So it is connected in parallel. See here, for example, measure the voltage across this resistance R, which is connected in this circuit. For example, this is the circuit across which a resistance is connected, and I want to measure the voltage. So what we do? We connect a voltmeter in parallel with this resistance. Okay, so what will happen then? If galvanometer, it is directly used to measure the voltage. That means at this voltmeter, directly if I connect a galvanometer, what will happen? Then some current flows through the galvanometer. Definitely, suppose this is the current I in the circuit. So the partially some current will flow through this resistance, say I1. Some current also it will flow through this galvanometer, say this is I2. So some current, it will flow through the galvanometer because of its low resistance. Remember, galvanometer has a low resistance. So some current will flow through it. So what will happen? Hence, circuit current decreases. That means what? Actually, I want to measure this current I, but now I may measure this current I1 instead, which is less than I, because some part of this I, it is I2, it flows through this galvanometer. So the circuit current decreases, hence voltage decreases. Therefore, true voltage is not measured. So if this is so, then the actual voltage across this resistance may not be measured at all. So this is one error. What is the next one? If high current is passed through the galvanometer, suppose a large current, if it flows through the galvanometer, directly we have connected here galvanometer instead of voltmeter, what will happen? Its coil may be damaged. So its coil may be damaged. So to avoid this, first thing is current is not measured properly. One. Second is due to a high current, the coil means galvanometer itself may be damaged. So to avoid this, what is done? A high resistance, let us say this is X. How much is this high? Ideally, it is infinite. This high resistance, it is connected in series with the coil of galvanometer. See the difference between ammeter and the voltmeter. In ammeter, we had seen a low resistance is connected in parallel. Here we see a high resistance, it is connected in series. Okay, so with this, what will happen then? See here, if the I is the current in the circuit, then what will happen? If V is the voltage to be measured, I want to measure this voltage V, this is the voltage V, I want to measure across this resistance, say R. If this is so what we write this as then? Whatever the current it is coming is say Ig, this will flow through this resistance, but what we have done is, we have it will flow through this X and G. So V, voltage across parallel combination is same. So voltage across this resistance R is equal to Ig into X plus G. What is this X? It is a high resistance connected in series with the coil of the galvanometer, remember. So we have V equal to Ig into X plus G. So that, therefore, that is equal to Ig into X plus Ig into G. Just solving we get. So Ig into X equal to V minus Ig into G, or we get this relation as X equal to V upon Ig minus G. So this is the equation with which we can calculate the high resistance required to connect in series with the coil of galvanometer to measure the maximum voltage V. So that is the meaning of this. That is written. This value of resistance X gives the maximum voltage that can be measured by the voltmeter. Just like an ammeter, for voltmeter, we shall see one more thing. The maximum voltage measured by the galvanometer. Galvanometer means what? Without conversion into voltmeter. That means high resistance is not connected. That is the meaning of this. So this maximum voltage, how much will this voltage be? It is given by Vg equal to Ig into G, because Ig, it is the current through the galvanometer for which it shows full scale deflection. So this is maximum current and this is the resistance of galvanometer. So this much voltage maximum we can measure with the help of galvanometer without converting into a voltmeter. So Vg equal to Ig into G. Okay. Now, if V, it is the maximum voltage that can be measured by the voltmeter. Now suppose we want to convert this galvanometer into a voltmeter to measure the maximum voltage, then what we have? That V upon Vg, V is maximum voltage, Vg is this voltage. So this V upon Vg, what it will give? It gives the factor by which voltage range can be increased. Say this is N. So we write here then V upon Vg equal to N, or we can have V equal to N times Vg, that is N times Vg is this one, Ig into G. From equation X equal to Ig minus G, just we had seen, what we have now? X equal to V, that is this relation just we had seen, N times Ig, G upon Ig minus G. So this we get Ng minus G, therefore X is equal to G into N minus 1. So what is the meaning of this? Thus, with this value of X, voltage range is increased by N times. That is the meaning. Let us see one example so it will be clear. For example, if N is equal to 10, means what? I want to increase the capacity, that is to measure the voltage 10 times. Then what is value of X? X will be equal to 9 times G. So that is to increase the range of voltmeter by 10 times, increase its resistance by 9 times. So this is the meaning of this. Let us solve one more problem here. When a current of 5 milliampere is passed through a galvanometer, having a coil of resistance 15 ohm. It shows full scale deflection. Three things are given. What are they? 5 milliampere current shows full scale deflection. So Ig is 5 milliampere, converted into ampere, 10 raised to minus 3, 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. Find the value of the resistance to be put in series with the galvanometer. So actually series resistance, that is X, it is asked, to read the maximum voltage of 10 volt. So voltage is 10 volt and the resistance given, it is 15 ohm. So these are the given things, and we have to find resistance of galvanometer. We may say this is R, or we may say this as X, whatever later we can use. We know that V equal to Ig into R plus G, just we had seen before. So here, from which we get, actually we use here, instead of R, we had used X, remember. So instead of R here, we had used X, that is the difference. X is equal to, or R is equal to V upon Ig minus G. Everything is known. Substitute the values. So we get, actually V is 10 volt, that is given. Ig is given, G is given. Substituting, we get R is equal to 1985 ohm. So this much resistance must be connected in series with the coil of the galvanometer. That is the meaning of this. Okay. The last topic of this chapter, that is thermoelectricity. Now what is this? Thermoelectricity. The conversion of thermal energy into an electric energy, it is called thermoelectric effect. So heat energy, that is thermal energy, if we convert it into an electric energy by making any arrangement, we call this as, the effect is called the thermoelectric effect. It is found or discovered by a scientist, Seebeck. So this is also called the Seebeck effect, remember. What is this Seebeck effect now? See here. If two different metals, remember, different metals, if they are joined to form a closed circuit. Now we know what is closed circuit, that we had seen in Kirchhoff's voltage law. So for this closed circuit, if there are two metals, they are joined, these junctions are kept at different temperatures. That means not only the two metals, they are joined together in a closed loop, but they are kept at different temperatures. Then a small EMF, it is produced, and this is called the thermo EMF. And this effect, it is called the thermoelectric effect or the Seebeck effect. See, I will explain this again. What is the meaning of this? If two different metals, remember, they are joined to form a closed circuit, and if these junctions are kept at different temperatures, their temperatures must be different. Different metals, closed loop, different temperatures. If this is so, then the small EMF is produced, generated. It is called thermo EMF because of the temperature difference. Therefore, it is thermo EMF. And this effect, it is called the thermoelectric effect or the Seebeck effect. A junction formed, two different metals we have joined together, so that is a junction. A junction formed due to different metals, it is called a thermocouple. The junction, it is called a thermocouple. Okay. Now we shall see one example of this. For example, for a copper iron couple, see in the diagram, this is a ferrous copper Fe. This is a copper, this is ferrous, that is iron. This is copper Cu. This is ferrous again, this is iron. So these are the two different metals. This is one metal, this is another metal. See, they are joined together, they are connected together at this place, they are connected together at this place. Now, not only the two different metals, but their temperature difference is maintained. That means this is a hot junction, we can say, and this is a ice. Here it is heated, so this is ice, means low temperature. So temperature difference, if it is maintained, Then see in the diagram, the direction of this arrow shows the direction of current flowing in the circuit, which we can sense it or measure it with the help of this galvanometer. And remember, this is a closed circuit. If we see, then this is a closed circuit. So this is the arrangement that is made to get the thermo EMF. What is that? Copper iron couple, and the current flows from copper to iron at the hot junction. This is very important. When we arrange this, how the current flows? Current flows from copper to iron and from cold junction to the hot junction. This is important, remember. Current flows from copper to iron, from cold to hot junction. Okay. Now this effect is reversible also. We can reverse this also. But when it is reversed, that is the direction of current, it is reversed if the hot and cold junctions are interchanged. If we interchange these two junctions, then the direction of current in the circuit, it is reversed. So we can reverse this effect also. Okay. Now, the thermo EMF, now this is called sigma. The thermo EMF, it will be developed now because we had seen different metals joined together, kept at different temperatures. It is in the closed loop, current flows, that means EMF is generated, it is called thermo EMF, say sigma. This thermo EMF, it is developed in a thermocouple when cold junction is at 0 degrees Celsius and hot junction is at T degrees Celsius. If this is so, then how much sigma it is generated? It is given by sigma is equal to alpha into T plus 1/2 beta into T square. See, what is this T? T is the temperature in degrees Celsius. In book it is shown with capital T, but capital T, it is a symbol generally used for absolute temperature. Therefore, I had used this as a small t. So alpha T plus 1/2 beta into T square. So this is the relation which gives the thermo EMF that is generated in this circuit. What is alpha and beta? Remember, they are the constants and they are called thermoelectric constants. These are the constants. Okay. Now this equation, it is the equation of parabola. What is the equation of parabola? Y is equal to ax plus bx square. Let us see one example. Y equal to mx plus c. This is the equation of what? It is the equation of straight line. We know this. So in the same way, equation of parabola, it is y is equal to ax plus bx square. How this parabola actually it looks, you might have studied in the geometry also. If we have the x and y axis, then the parabola, it looks something like this. So this shape, we call it is a parabolic shape. So this is called a parabola. So the given equation, what is that equation actually? Sigma is equal to alpha times t plus beta times t square. This is equation of type y is equal to ax plus bx square. That is the meaning of this. So if we compare these two equations, they are identical equations. So we say that this variation is like this equation, which is the equation of parabola, and therefore we say a graph of sigma with temperature, it is parabolic in nature. That means how it varies. If we suppose this is the nature, this indicates that as we change the value of t from negative to positive, see this is sigma, this is t, then this sigma, that is thermo EMF, decreases. Say this becomes 0 here, for example, at t equal to 0, then it increases like this, then it increases. So it is like a shape of a cup, we can say, that we take a tea in a daily routine. So the parabolic shape, it is a cup type shape, we can say. So the variation of thermo EMF with this temperature, it is parabolic in nature. So this is how we can determine the thermo EMF developed in a given circuit, that is called a thermocouple. So in today's lecture, we had seen how to use the galvanometer as a voltmeter. Voltmeter measures the voltage across the conductor. So how we convert this? By connecting a high resistance in series with the coil of the galvanometer. That is the first part we had seen. Then also we had seen thermoelectricity. What is thermoelectricity? If two different metals, they are joined together and kept at different temperatures, then EMF it is generated in that closed circuit. That is called thermo EMF sigma. The variation of this sigma with temperature T, if we plot the graph, then it is parabolic in nature. So we had seen that the nature of this thermo EMF generated is parabolic. Thank you.